Becca, can you hear me?
What is going on, movie lovers and bud smokers, and welcome back to 5 on It. On today's episode, spooky season is coming to a close, but we have one more film on the radar. Today, we are going back to 2002 to review the classic, The Ring. But before we go into any further into that, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, drop some comments below on some of your favorite horror movies. Also, maybe some of your favorite Halloween movies, since this is the season and we are coming to a close. Sir Fraser, tell the people what we're watching.
Yeah, as you mentioned, man, this is The Ring, supernatural horror movie, directed by Gore Verbinski. And this movie stars Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, David Dorfman, and Brian Cox. Before we dive into this movie, man, Cisco and I were kind of talking about, we've been talking about horror movies this entire month. And it really got me thinking about, lists. It's always a fun thing to do when we're talking about music, movies, you name it. And I want to ask you, what are your 4 Rushmore horror movies?
Man.
Like, what are your 4, goated movies?
When we're talking about horrors, horror and action might be my 2 favorite genres, and horror might be my favorite genre. It's arguably, but it could be my favorite genre. And there's so many good classics, man. I always go back to the 80s. And even like the 90s, those were some of the bangers that you have. Mm-hmm. But with my 4, let me just give a couple shout outs just really quick, just off the rip, just to be that not on my 4, but
all right, just one honorable mention. Can you just do one?
Okay, just one.
All right.
Fright Night, the classic Fright Night, back in 1985. Dude, that movie is a banger, and you'll see like some of its influence on today's horror movies, especially it's a vampire type movie. So you'll definitely see some of this influence, especially even in Sinners, like the fact that you have to invite them inside. I'm not saying Friday Night maybe is the first one. I'm sure maybe there was something in the 70s or even before that, but just from my recollection. So I'll give you that. But my top 4, no in particular order. We're going with Child's Play 2, the remake of Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was going back and forth between Halloween and the newer Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel. And I will give it to Halloween. Just because we're covering both areas as far as we could watch around Halloween time. And it's a great horror movie. And you're getting I got 3 horror slasher icons. I guess slasher is just kind of my subgenre of the horror franchises. But yeah, those are my 4. Child's Play 2, Halloween, the remake of Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first Nightmare on Elm Street. To me, those are my favorite 4 Halloween movies.
Okay.
What about you, sir?
Man, honorable mention. Man, dude.
I know 2 right off the rip.
The honorable mention is really tough. I think these 2 are very, very close, and I don't want to feel like I'm doing recency bias, so I'm gonna say my honorable mention is The Ring.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, my honorable mention is The Ring. So my 2, I've got Jaws, all time incredible story. That movie still spooks me when I see that fucking shark, bruh.
It still holds up too.
Oh my god, Alien. Alien is not only one of my favorite horror movies, just one of my favorite movies. Period. It's a masterpiece.
It's great. We did do that review too. Check it out.
We did. Third, man. What list is complete without Carpenter? Halloween. I'm not sure that it's his best, but it is my favorite, and I love The Thing. That director had an incredible run.
My God. I might have to just make a on-air audible real quick. Man, I think I might have to take Halloween off and put The Thing on.
All right.
Yeah. Just because The Thing, check out our review on it if you haven't. Mm-hmm. The Thing is awesome, man. And
it is an awesome movie.
Prosthetics still hold up. And as far as like horror, like that movie is horrifying. Like you might have to like look away at a bunch of different scenes in that movie, especially if you're a bit squeamish. And for coming out in 1985, I want to say it was, that movie still holds up. So yeah, I'm making
82.
Was it 82?
82. The Thing was 82, yeah.
I'll make it a quick little audible.
Same year as E.T.
Even though E.T. is sometimes horrifying to look at, especially when he was dying.
Oh man, ashy.
And Elliot. That was
check out the review though.
Elliot was horrifying to listen to. He needs me. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, we're making that quick audible. Halloween, you're coming off. I'm sorry, but The Thing, you're getting promoted.
Okay, so for me, yeah, my third one is Halloween, and my fourth one, Ju-on. My God, that is one of the creepiest movies
Another review we did
I've ever seen. I didn't sleep well when I saw that as a kid.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep well at all.
I think one of the standouts of that movie is like the way they use the sound.
Oh my God.
Of like
voice.
The boy. Yeah. Bro.
Bruh.
Bruh. I honestly haven't seen The Grudge, so maybe I should check that out just for like comparison. But honestly, with some of these movies, just right off the rip, obviously we're doing The Ring today. Mm-hmm. That's a remake of the Japanese film. Ju-on as well, with The Grudge. But then another one that comes up to mind is Old Boy. And I saw the remake, the one with Josh Brolin, but I haven't watched the original. And I know the twist in that is really fucked up.
Yeah.
But I want to go back and watch the original just to see, just the quality and the comparison. Have you seen Old Boy?
I haven't, but I mean, this is a movie I've definitely heard a lot about.
I'm not sure if we'll ever review Old Boy, but if you guys haven't watched it, check it out. And you, Sir Fraser, you should definitely check out Old Boy.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, this is, it's funny, I picked the Ju-on as my fourth movie, and that kind of circles back really well with The Ring, because I mean, this movie was so successful. I think we talked about this. I mean, the budget, dude, was $48 million, and it brought in $249 million at the box office. So I mean, the success of this movie really paved the way for a few other Japanese horror remakes, like Pulse, Dark Water, Shudder, and One Missed Call, as well as I can't remember exactly when The Grudge dropped, but I think this movie, so to be fair, I haven't seen the original Ring You, but I have seen some clips, and I've even seen the video, and I gotta say, this movie elevated like what I saw in just like a side-by-side comparison. And I mean, it's also reflective of that they had a bigger budget.
Yeah.
I mean, and they boy, did they use that budget well, especially for the visuals. The visuals look great, which dovetails great with what I wanted to, the shout I want to give to the cinematographer. I think it's Bajon Bazelli. I love the use of that blue-green color palette. It really just added to the kind of gloominess of, because it takes place in the northwest Seattle, I believe. It really adds to, along with the rain, adds to the gloominess and really just like the atmosphere of this movie. One thing I also wanted to call out real quick is that I thought about two movies when I was watching this movie. I thought about The Poltergeist because of the use of the television as like a portal between worlds.
Yeah.
And check out a Poltergeist review. We did that earlier this month. But it also reminded me of Halloween in the sense that, like Halloween, like Michael Myers, we have this antagonist who is just completely like inscrutable. Inscrutable in the sense that we know that they have evil intent, but we don't understand why they're like this. Like, what is it internally? We understand why she's vengeful, right? But we don't understand why she started hurting people to begin with. Like, it was just in her. She couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that almost contributes to a more horrifying villain because we can never really understand them.
Yeah, exactly. Man, when you were mentioning like some of like the influences, another thing that kind of brought to my mind was like the opening was like kind of like Scream like. I feel like Scream kind of took. Yeah, well, just like it opens with like some girl. I mean, in Scream is just the one girl, but this opens with two girls. They're home alone. They're getting kind of like some phone calls and shit. So it was like it just felt very. I think Scream maybe took some influence from this movie.
Well, I mean, to your point, I love the way they start the tone of this movie, where we get a lot of exposition right from Katie, who confesses to having seen this mysterious tape and the content of it, and the fact that a woman will call you at the end, and telling you they have 7 days to live. And from there, we get the phone call, and we realize, oh, she's for real.
Yeah,
she's not bullshitting. Mm-hmm. Go downstairs. The TV cuts on. When she goes up to the TV, unplugs it, and we see something move behind her.
Real quick,
that scene. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I kind of like how it starts with like when they're like describing like what's like with the tape and everything, but it almost makes you feel like was she like she says she watched it, mm-hmm. but then she pretends like she's dying, mm-hmm. and then she's like, I'm just fucking with you. I was kind of thinking like, did she actually watch the tape? It almost makes you feel like, did she watch the tape or not? A little bit of
misdirection.
Yeah, exactly. Like, is she just playing or not? And so like even though like you're thinking like, did she even watch the tape or was she kind of fucking around like mm-hmm. the whole time about everything? Because you won't know if she was taking it seriously until that TV turns on. You're like, oh man, the static and the shadow goes in the back, like you said, bro. Yeah, well, I love how the movie does open.
And then she goes up the stairs, and as she opens the door, we see the well. We do that fucking fast zoom on her, and her face is just like, well, what the hell is happening? And then we see a really condensed version of like a short remix of the actual tape itself.
Yeah.
Before we cut to Aiden. Mm-hmm. And man,
oh my God,
what a way to start this movie. I mean,
this is a great opening.
The great thing about this movie is that it's a supernatural horror, but it's very much a mystery thriller. Like, we are trying to piece together the clues in this tape and the history revolving around this tape in order to essentially save not only Rachel but also Aiden's lives, mm-hmm. because that they're trying to figure out what happened in order to somehow make things right or to somehow just lift the curse.
Yeah.
And one of the best jump scenes in this movie is when they are at the funeral home. That whole scene is eerie, right? You see Aiden, he's at the staircase, and the way that they shot his Katie running up the staircase, and then we see the flashback of her running up there, mm-hmm. and then we go upstairs, we see the fucking water stains on the wood. That scene was like super eerie, and then when the mother is telling Rachel, you don't understand, I saw her face, and we cut to her in the closet,
bro. And they give you a good look.
That is one of the best scare scenes I've ever seen.
I wouldn't know if I would say like jump, like it made me jump, but it definitely made me like,
bro.
It made me. I was like, whoa.
Like that transition is so eerie and so fucking creepy, and it's so abrupt.
Bro, and then they show her head just kind of like falling down.
And you're like, what the fuck happened to her?
But one thing that's like, I wish they would have kind of showed a little bit more of like, because like before that, like the boy Aiden hasn't seen the tape yet. Uh-huh. So it's like, why? I wish
why
they would
was he drawing?
Yeah, how was he able to have like this connection to like the girl, to his cousin? That had like this, obviously this crazy death. So I was like, I wish they would have gone a little bit further into why he had this connection like that.
I think that because him and Katie were so close, I got the impression, I can't recall if it was explicitly stated, but I got the impression that Katie was talking to him about the tape and what was happening to her. Mm-hmm. And he had that story, and so he was drawing those things that based on those conversations he was having with his sister, or his cousin, who's one of his best friends, right? That's kind of established. Yeah. So I'm wondering if those images were from what she had been telling him about. All these symbols that were like being branded into her mind that she couldn't understand and was trying to figure out what they meant.
Oh, like during like after she watched the tape and like during like those 7 days
before she dies.
I mean, that could have been, but like,
because like, who else would believe that outside of potentially a child? Everybody else would look at her like, "Yo, you're insane. What are you talking about?" Like, whereas him, he might take it more at not face value, but like entertain it.
Yeah,
because he's a kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's just I feel like a missed opportunity. That they could have did that maybe with some dialogue, mm-hmm. of like telling Aiden just saying something like how he knows. Like like I said, just how he has this connection and like how he has these visions of like her moving around the house and whatnot. So it feels like
her moving around the house. Who?
Well, was that just for us? Because it felt like when he was like when he's up the stairs and the scene cuts to like her running up the stairs, I was taking that as like he's almost having like these kind of like he's like seeing it like in his mind, like he can like kind of feel like that, like he's like making his way through the house of like how she did, and so that's why I felt like he's having this like almost
like a connection to her.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like they could have just used some dialogue to like explicitly like state like why he's having these type of
I think that would have been helpful, because I think sometimes in a lot of these horror franchises, especially some of the recent ones we've been talking about, children are often like a conduit of like connecting like
to spirits and stuff.
Yeah, to spirits, because think about it, in Poltergeist that happened with the little girl.
Yeah.
Right? Child's Play that happened with Andy.
Yeah.
Like, I think oftentimes, for whatever reason, I mean, hell, Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, those were kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they often are a conduit for some reason. Like, I'm not entirely sure like if it's the purity of kids that we associate the kids that makes them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with
the innocence of children,
but also I think maybe it has something to do with just their minds are just easily they're very impressionable. Like you can manipulate a child's mind a lot easier than an adult's mind, or easier to haunt or scare and things like that. So I think when it comes to like horror movies, like that's why like I feel like kids are also just like such like a huge like a protagonist in a lot of those films.
I mean, hell, probably just like they were all teenagers, they were all kids,
and also too like with women too. Like how many horror films do you see like the final guy besides like A Nightmare on Elm Street 2? But like they also have like the gay innuendos like that go along with that.
The what?
They talked about how like was that dude gay in that movie?
Oh,
and that's why when they talk about he's like because you just don't see too many horror movies where there's like a final dude. And that was like one of the first ones, and they make like gay kind of references to that character. And I think that dude actually came out that he is gay, and he talked about like his experiences like with that movie and afterwards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I don't know, because like you see like you talk about like there's like kids are like used like very like forward in like the horror movies, but also like women as well too.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, I think with this movie, man, I like the way that they set up Rachel as this investigative journalist, and when she kind of gets clues about this tape that Katie and her friends saw, and then she starts piecing together and learning, okay, wait, all these kids died the same night and at the same time.
Yeah.
And she gets the photos developed. She goes to the cabin and she finds the tape and she watches it. Dude, the tape is the iconic, like the iconography, I guess, of just like the videotape as being like this, what do you call that? MacGuffin? It's like a MacGuffin, right? Like that object being this means of communicating and spreading this virus, basically, right? This curse. The actual imagery on that tape are creepy as fuck. Yeah. Like the woman combing her hair, looking over her shoulder, Samara backing away.
Well, that's where it kind of like leans.
The fucking nail, the fingernail going pierced through the nails, like all of these things that are tied to that we're learning were actually memories and visions from Samara printed onto this tape.
Yeah, but that's kind of where, I mean, maybe you could clarify that. That's kind of where I lean into like a little bit of a con. Like, how did this tape even come to be?
Okay, so one of the things I was reading about was that this concept called Project Thermography. So people with parapsychic abilities are able to basically project and imprint like mental images onto objects, like paper, like film, all different types of surfaces. So it was like her psychic ability. That's how she, remember in the psychiatric, like the doctor footage with Samara, and she talks about he asks her, how did you make these images? She's like, oh, like, I don't make them. I just think them, and they become that, and they are. So she has like clearly like some psychic ability that she's able to influence through the grave through this tape.
Okay, well that definitely clarifies that a little bit. So I mean, that's just like what we're talking about earlier with like the boy, it's like that's just like a piece of dialogue that obviously I've just like missed, but it just explains how this, because we know like why when we're watching the tape, we know what the images are as Naomi Watts' character Rachel, as she's piecing this like this thing together, what happened to this girl, we start realizing exactly like what's on the tape with the ladder and the mirror and things like that. So
the actual views of Samara's house.
Yeah, exactly.
Her mom, Anna Morgan.
Yeah.
Her falling off into when she committed suicide. Like, dude.
And the horses as well. And so like we were figuring it out as we're following with Rachel, but I just kept thinking like, how the fuck did the tape come to be though? And so that was just something I guess I missed when they were talking about that during the interview with Samara.
Dude, I think that, I mean, this first scene of where we see this videotape for the first time is one of the highlights, because after the video, it cuts to the static, right? That eerie static that we've seen earlier, and very ominous indicator of things to come. And we get a close up on her eyeballs as they're dilated. Yeah. And again, like the appearance of rings, right, throughout this movie, is something that's very prevalent and plays into the story. And just like finally realizing what that mystery, what the ring is, and how dark of a fucking circumstance that was. But one thing that I was going to say about that scene, and then when she answers the phone and she just hears, "Hello? This girl's 7 days," like, bruh.
Even like the 7 day, I love how it like kind of like comes to be of. They're like when Noah asks like how long could somebody survive down there, and then she's just like 7 days, and it's like in my mind too, like even when she's just like when she mentions like I think she actually says like when she looked at the ring or something like that. It's when characters in the movie say the title of the movie. I always like, even The Simpsons had like a bit about that. Is every time I watch a movie, like even let's take like Dusk Till Dawn. It's like if a character was in there, was like, man, we got to get out of here before it gets dusk till dawn. And we're like, he said the thing. That's something like Naomi Watts, Rachel says it at some point when she says something about the ring. The end, and I was like, even the 7 days, I was like, that's where that comes from. Well, I mean, it all makes sense.
Well, going back to the tape, right? That's where Noah gets roped in. Noah is, he deals with film, video. He's like an expert, and she makes the copy for him, which is key.
Yeah. But also, I feel like it's really realistic because she is a journalist. She doesn't
following the lead.
She's not even really believing the three kids that are talking about the tape, even though what's his name from the OC? Shout out to him. Yeah, Adrian Brody. What's that? His name? No, not Adrian Brody.
Something Brody.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody. That sounds familiar.
Even though he's like he's telling her exactly what's on the tape and everything like that, and like you're gonna die if you watch it, and blah blah blah, and this has happened with the dude, and she's piecing it together and everything. She's still gonna watch it because she's not a full believer. She's just right. It's like she's the journalist. You want to see what's on the tape, and even how she gets Noah roped into it, even though now she's a firm believer, Noah's still like. It all to me is it's all realistic.
He's skeptical.
He's a skeptical dude, and he doesn't really start believing until he has the moment in the store. Yeah, and he starts seeing
that was an eerie scene. First of all, she's like, "You're gonna die." It's like, bitch, what? Just give me my fucking order. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Do you think I feel like that was almost like
it was foreshadowing for sure.
But it's also almost like not a hallucination, but it was like she was saying that like in a different tone. Like that wasn't really her saying it. I feel like. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain in a way. I feel like she was saying that in almost in a possessed way. But then when he's like, "What?" and then like she's like kind of snaps out of it, like you were gonna die from those things. I feel like she was saying that in almost like two like different personalities, or like she was almost possessed in a way, or he was like looking at her in a different way. Like I said, it's a little bit hard to explain. But
I didn't think that initially, but. Now I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene because I didn't pick up on that.
I felt like when she said like you're gonna die,
it was very abrupt.
I felt like it was almost Samara talking to him, and then when he's like what? Then it was like she was making it make sense of whatever she was talking about.
Well, bro, when Rachel goes to see Becca in the hospital, that's another really creepy scene where she can't even see screens. Yeah. That triggers her.
Yeah.
Something nasty.
Yeah. And I mean, if I would have saw that face too, I'd probably be on the same tip as her.
I didn't see nothing.
I know, dude. They would have been
no
like,
problems.
They would have gone like even extreme if you were like did something like, oh, she stabbed her own eyes out or some crazy shit, dude. That would have been like crazy.
Oh god,
that would be almost, I think, a decent touch.
That
they could have added to her character, like she's so wild that she stabbed out her own eyes.
That would be insane.
But I feel like that. I mean, the interview with her.
That was such a creepy scene, dude.
It's a great creepy scene and a great just like this the shot with those two. But I feel like also there was just a little bit of a missed opportunity because with when she's like looking at her hand and she can obviously tell that she's seeing the tape. And I feel like, man, she could have just like maybe gone a little further into her of just like how she knows she's seen the tape. Maybe even giving her a look.
Samara is sending. She's communicating to her.
Yeah, she could have maybe even just said something just like, "You've seen it, haven't you?" Like, I could see it 4 days. I feel like they could have maybe just like gone just a little further into maybe go a little deeper into like that conversation because I feel like we went, it was creepy, but we could have dug a little deeper into that, man.
I love that just that reaction where she's they both know
exactly,
right? And dude, the scenes where she is re-looking at the tape and she's printing out the images of the lighthouse, trying to basically dial in on where the hell this is located, where this is happening at. And I love also the fact that we got the ticking time clock. We have every so often in this movie, it lets us know what day we're on.
Yeah.
And the visuals, for example, of the sun hitting those bright red leaves was really great. But when she is rewatching the video and she's able to pick off the fly, that was another eerie ass scene, brother. And her nose starts bleeding. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these, like all of as her visions of Samara and like become more intense. Like when she pulls the hair out of her mouth and she goes into the room and Samara grabs her, and then what does she get to wake up to? Her son watching the footage.
Dude, hold on, quickly. When she pulling out that hair, like whatever prosthetic or like effect still holds up. But then I was like, what the fuck is like at the end of that? I was like, that's some sort of plan B or some sort of fucking like birth control. But then it's like, oh no, that's her from the footage when she was getting interviewed and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's where that's from. Because I was like, what the fuck is that? But then, like you mentioned, that now she wakes up to Aiden has seen the tape, which not necessarily a con of this movie. It's just something like I'm just going to trash Rachel on. Child neglect. Bitch, you have a killer tape around that you're firm in this hunt now. You know how much time you got. And almost like quick side note, when her and Noah are going off to like she's on her last day and they're going off to that cabin, whatever, and she's just like, "It's up to you, Noah. I only got 1 day left." She just sounds so nonchalant about it. Just like, "Bitch, you're about to die," and you're just like, I got 1 day left. All right." But back to the child neglect. Bitch, you need to put that tape up. How the fuck was he able to get his hands on that?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, and then also let's go back to, first of all, this Aiden is creepy as shit. I don't think he even blinked once in this whole goddamn movie.
He definitely plays a creepy kid. Even with the drawings, man.
Dude, it's his eyes, really man. Eerie. Like he could get cast in The Omen, bro.
I totally could see him playing Damien.
He's like an attorney now. He's a retired actor.
I think he graduated from like law school at like very young, like 18.
Yeah, he looked like when he got
I think he was like a genius. He graduated college, I think. He started college at like 13 or 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
like, I mean, he looked like, when he was like posing for his picture, I was like, either he's super young or he just looks like, I didn't quite catch his age or anything like that.
I want to say he's probably, I'm going to say in his 30s, yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, give or take. Yeah, so super young, man. So shout out to him. But
that scene though was also really eerie because we see Samara's closer to the well, like getting out of the well.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Fuck, and then it cuts to the static. I'm like, oh, turn it off.
but fucking Rachel, man. Like I said, you always mention when he's getting himself ready for school, and he's like, "Bye, mom."
Very mature kid.
Damn, bitch, you can't even say. I do. Yeah, he says bye, Rachel. Yeah, he doesn't call her mom. And she doesn't even say bye. Like, she's just caught up in crisscross applesauce on her fucking bed.
Yeah.
Going through her little bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn, girl, you can't even say bye to your own kid, A. And then B, you got the damn tape out and you're firm, like you're like halfway through your week of living and you just have the tape just available so your son can see it. And then you're screaming at him like, why would you watch it? It's like, bitch, he's a kid. He saw some tape. He probably thought Power Rangers was on it.
I mean,
or he probably thought The Omen with his weird ass was on. He probably thought, is this a copy of The Omen?
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, there's not really a horror movie genre without people making bad choices. There's no real genre.
But man, I wish. But like that could easily be maybe avoided with like maybe you show the kid like it's on the top shelf and he's just like walking by and he just kind of sees a tape up there and he's just like, what the fuck is a tape doing on the top shelf?
Or he takes it out of her purse.
Yeah, and just like obviously, and he's curious because
kids are like that.
Them playing the tape is not what makes me like irritated. It's just like, why would you have this tape out just that he can is accessible to him? He's a kid.
To be fair, like we don't know how. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, if that's a gripe, it's like just indicating that he had to work a little bit to get to find the tape.
Yeah,
but. I mean, when she goes to the island and she's really, she talks to Brian Cox's character, and she's the fact that Anna Morgan had a daughter, and she's learning more about Samara and just the curse that she was to this island and the horses and like the moments with Brian Cox's character are super eerie, man. When she is. He has a really great line to her, actually, that I think connects so perfectly with just this video, what the tape is and what it represents. And he says to Rachel, he said, you take one person's tragedy and you force the world to experience it. Spread it like sickness. Yeah. That is exactly what Samara is. That's what she wants. Mm-hmm. That's how she lives.
Yeah.
And that was such a great line in the script that I had to call that one out. But when she goes back and watches the tape of Samara and we're getting this glimpse of who this girl was while she was alive, the fact is she never sleeps.
Yeah.
And she's just the footage of her just watching the clock like teetering back and forth.
You just see the hands
just
going
rolling.
Around, going around. No, just going and going.
And the her doctor is asking her questions and he says, oh, you don't want to hurt people. And he's like, but I do. And it won't stop.
But I'm sorry.
Right? And then we see behind Rachel, the dad.
Yeah.
That was like, ooh, that's a good jump scene.
Bro, and then fucking like, bit smashed the fuck out of her.
For real. And he's like, but Daddy doesn't know.
Yeah.
And that's like, I was like, what doesn't he know?
Well, we don't even hear that part first. Yeah. We see the beginning part, but we don't even see the end of it until we get to that scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're getting to like that part with Brian Cox I even want to talk about too. Because, I mean, he delivers. He's such a great actor, in my opinion. But every time I see Brian Cox, I always think of his X-Men 2 role.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of that as a Stryker. But when she's there and she gets fucking knocked upside the head with this device that he has, but like something that I feel like another thing they could have maybe gone further into was maybe it's a throwaway line for all I know, but he's like, she wasn't even supposed to have children. And I'm like, was that just like a line of like, she just wasn't able to have children. Like, unfortunately, some women are just not able to have children. Or it's like, was like she was just born evil? Was it like, I feel like that was a line and was delivered so well by him.
Yeah.
And I was just like kind of taking like, what does that mean? Like, was Samara born evil? Was she not supposed to have a child? So like her conception was like some immaculate conception? Was this like Rosemary's Baby? Was she raped by the devil?
So she, when Noah is in the records searching through Anna Morgan's files, it says that she had a lot of failed pregnancies. Is what I'm getting at. She had tried multiple times, and he even says, he's like, damn, she wouldn't give up. She had several failed conceptions, and I think in one of the articles that he was reading, like she returned with a daughter, like she had adopted. Samara. That was the kind of impression that I got, that she wasn't able to actually conceive, so she adopted.
Okay.
And I even got that vibe from the doctor when she was talking to Rachel, when Rachel was just trying to figure out more about the Morgan family. But dude, when Brian Cox kills himself, that was just such a jarring scene too. It's like the things she'll show you.
Jesus, it's like, why did he do all that? Like, couldn't he have just with that killing, obviously him unaliving himself? I wonder, like, was that specific? Like, he had to do it a certain way? Because I'm like, damn, bro, you brought every TV in the house into your bathroom and flooded your bathroom wet bandit style.
Yeah, I don't get why he went to that length. But,
I was like, couldn't you have just popped yourself?
I don't know, man, but
she would have stopped the bullet.
I don't know why he went to that length, but that was.
But it's still, like, as a visual, it's a crazy death scene.
It's a gnarly death scene. The scene where they go back to the Mountain Inn, where the well is, and the marbles get knocked off the table. This is literally the last day 7 for
Show me a sign.
For Rachel, and the arrow, the marbles form the arrow pointing in the direction of the well, and they're knocking it. They're ripping up the wood floor, and when they push it open, and I'm like, oh boy, you just remembering like, oh, something bad's gonna happen. And when she gets knocked into that well, bro, that's still a scene where I'm just like, I low-key get goosebumps. It's just like, man, I would be fucking panicking if I fell down a well, bro.
Dude, I remember how this movie,
could you imagine?
I can't imagine. I don't even want to imagine that, because that's like horrifying to think. Like, bro, like, it's your toes, man. Like, especially
she didn't break nothing on the fall either.
Because I don't know how, like, you're even like, if you could somehow get up into the shaft, pause, then you can just shimmy up your way up there. But like, and then you can also just crawl yourself out. But like, how the fuck are you going to get yourself up to that point? Is like.
Oh my God, bro.
And so, like,
horrifying.
Honestly, I remember what happened to Noah, but I didn't remember exactly how this movie ended. It's been the first time I think I've only watched this maybe once or twice, and that was back when it first came out. So I didn't really remember what happened with Naomi Watts. And as soon as she got knocked in the head and thrown into that well, I was like, is this bitch dead? I'm like, damn, is she gonna die and Noah's gonna die too?
Bro, that scene is amazing too, because it brings everything into focus, right? We get the full picture of what happened to Samara, right? Her mom puts her to sleep, throws her down the well, and then seeing the well close, that was eerie as hell. Yeah, especially with her eyes open underwater.
Oh, bro, my God.
We're like seeing like the full interview, right? The completed interview with her doctor, Samara, right? And we're just seeing everything that happened, and we're thinking, leaving that scene, okay, we got some closure. The movie's over.
Yeah.
Happily ever after.
You thought you set her soul free.
Bro, one of the best fucking pump fakes in horror movie history for me, because you think this movie's done.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the next scene. Where she's talking to Aiden, like, we helped her, we freed her. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, Aiden, who still hasn't taken he still hasn't taken one blink yet in this movie. He rises up Clockwork Orange style, and then just like, you shouldn't have did that.
And she sees the mark on his fucking hand.
Yeah,
bro,
you never should have did that. She didn't want you to help her. Oh my God. Every time Aiden popped on the fucking screen, I just could not help but laugh a little bit with those eyeballs.
Bro, but that movie, that moment right there, now we're like, oh fuck. And we cut immediately to Noah. Yeah. And this ending, we talk about movies sticking a landing and how difficult it can be. My God, the payoff in this movie is one of the best I've ever seen in horror movies. I'm talking eye test. There's a little thing called the eye test. And how this movie landed with me, I just remember that experience of being in the theater and the mystery around this movie and the way that they marketed this movie. Like, there were late nights, a part of the marketing, where they would, as an ad for the movie, it would just literally play the VHS tape. Imagine seeing that in 2002. Like, I'm sorry, not 2000.
I think it was
it 2002? My bad.
Yeah, it was 2002.
2002. Seeing that in the middle of the night, like, yo, what the fuck is this?
Well, I remember that's one of the things that stood out for me, at least, was like, it's obviously like the ending is when she crawls out of the TV.
Bro.
Well, first of all, too, I gotta say, I wish another thing I would have wished they would have done. There's a few things I would have wished they would have done differently in this movie for my taste, and it's just little touches, especially Noah too. I mean, I guess you think that maybe it's over, but the TV comes on, you turn it off, then you walk away, then it turns itself back on. To me, as soon as that, I would have grabbed my keys and I would have been out. And then even if you run into that fucking your little secretary chick down the street,
we gotta go.
I'm like, see ya, bitch, gotta go. I gotta move the fuck out of the way. Like, dude, they should have made him like, bro. Instead of he's just like, crawling on his ass, like, oh no, like he tries to put his hand on his desk and he slips and he falls over. He's like, oh my god, and he can't get up. I'm like, bro. Get the fuck out of your apartment. They should at least had him, I feel, just get up and at least go to the door. And the door could have just been locked. Mm-hmm. He could have tried to get out, but somehow his door just locked for some reason. And then water's coming underneath the door too. Uh-huh. So it's like he's trapped now. Uh-huh. I feel like that could have just been a good touch to the film, just to show just more competence in a way with some of these characters. Just like the tape scene. I feel like it's like you could have just showed us like just a little bit of here and a little bit of there, just to show a little more competency with at least that character. Because, dude, you know that you're gonna die, even if you think things are over. That TV just came on again. They should have had him get the fuck out of there, and then, like I said, the door could have just been locked.
I mean, for me, yeah, I didn't think anything like that when I saw this movie. Rewatching this end, I just remember thinking like, I can imagine, I can only imagine like the shock and like the horror of like seeing what's happening. Somebody is walking to your TV and you're walking to your TV. You're like, yo, what the hell? And then you see them get out of your TV. Yeah. Like, I would fucking be losing my shit.
And see, the way that she, that far, man. I would have Kool-Aided my ass out of that fucking well.
And then like the visuals of her look so good. Like the way that her body, the way that she's walking and how it's glitching and twitching. And then she's getting up, and we see like her fucking the non-existent nails,
even the feet,
and then she's all of a sudden up, and she looks at him, and then we see the ring, man, and oh, dude,
those are moments too. Like I want to like kind of pause it and just like hit fast forward because I want to see the transitions of like the face like actually morphing and turning into that. And I feel like another good transition as well is her coming out of the TV. That still holds up. That effect still looks really good. Her just like crawling out of it. I'm like, it's still. Yeah. I mean, it loses like I guess some of like the horror just because I think like all horror movies that's like over time you just like the more you watch it just loses some of like that horror to it because of like it's just there's nothing like the first time. Yeah, nothing like the first time.
That's true for sure.
It's because I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck was that?" Yeah. But it does lose that, but that's just something with all horror movies. Yeah. But all in all, it still holds up as like as a great ending to his character. Like I said, I wish they would have showed just a little bit more. I feel like that could have just been a great just nod to at least the audience because, like I said, if I'm doing that, I try to put myself into the movie a little bit of like what I would have done, and not necessarily like because you have to do some stupid stuff to have the horror movie, obviously. But if they could have had him just immediately go towards his door and then it'd be locked. And then show water coming out of coming through the cracks of the door. I'm like, dude, that could have just been like a nice little touch to it. But all in all, like it's still a great ending to his character. And honestly, I feel like they stick the ending as a whole for the whole movie because even when it ends with them making a copy, because now she knows that Aiden is marked and he only has maybe 2 days or maybe one more day left. He's got to show
it to somebody.
Yeah, he's got to make a copy and show it to somebody. And even when he asks like what's going to happen to the person we show it to, and it just ends with static. Oh, yeah. Bro, I was like, that's why you didn't really need a franchise, really. You could have ended like that.
I wish they would have. Yeah, most horror sequels, they're not usually great.
But I mean, when you see under a 50 million budget and you make almost 250 mil, I mean, I guess that's going to warrant.
DreamWorks said, "I'm dreaming more money."
Hold up. Hans Zimmer did the music. That's just something I just noticed here.
Oh yeah. Shit. For real. Damn.
Wow.
Yo, that man is.
That's kind of interesting because like I wouldn't say like it was a con or anything, but the music I wouldn't necessarily say that was like one.
It didn't give Hans Zimmer vibes.
No.
I mean, I guess I'm so accustomed to thinking of him with Nolan.
Yeah, I would have thought think of something more like bombastic or something that would stand out a little more. Because I didn't like. I mean, it didn't. Nothing in the Ring score really stood out for me personally. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was bad, or I mean, I'm not gonna even call Hans Zimmer like bad in any way.
No, but it wasn't as bombastic as like some of the other ones. Like
I'd have
Dune,
I'd have to rewatch it and actually like listen out for the score on the second watch, or maybe not my second watch, but on another rewatch, that's something I would try to have a more of an ear for because it just didn't really stand out for my personal.
Well, also this is actually I'm actually impressed that he did this because you think about the list of work that he's done, everything from The Lion King. Right, Disney, okay.
Yeah.
Gladiator, Ridley Scott, okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
You know, that was a big franchise. You know, that had like Disney, tied to Disney, and then he does something like this,
dude. Yeah, like
this.
Man, like
is small on his list of like is a smaller picture compared to a lot of the other work that he's done. So I mean, I love that because I mean, I did not know that until you call that out.
Yeah, I was just like kind of looking at some of like the credits here, and I'm like, Hans Zimmer, really? Maybe that was just, he just wanted to get a easy little paycheck. They're like, we're not looking for maybe anything crazy. We just want some of your throwaways. He's like, I got something for you. Here you go.
Yeah. We talked about some cons. What cons do you have? Do you have any other cons you want to call
out? Honestly, like. No, I kind of already mentioned them. I feel like as we went along, like it's just little things. Like I said, I mentioned with like the whole like the Brian Cox line, or doing the stuff with Noah, or the tape, like I mentioned with the child neglect. It's like, why are you gonna have a tape just kind of accessible for a child to get around, and then you're screaming at them for watching the tape for being curious, bitch. It's your fault. All right, don't make me call CBS on your ass. But. Honestly, there's nothing else I feel like I wanted to touch on as far as like the negatives. No, I think I'm pretty good on that. What about you?
No, I don't have any negatives on this, man. I really, I think, well, there were times where I wasn't really feeling, some of Naomi Watts' acting at certain scenes, like, leave him alone, like those scenes. Those scenes didn't really hit very well for me, or her acting in those scenes. I mean, that scene worked because we get the reveal that Noah is Aiden's father.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were times, not a lot, but there were a couple moments in this movie where her acting didn't really land very well for me.
He's your son.
Yeah.
Or like our son. I'm like,
there was definitely some moments, but it was something I noted, but it didn't really take me out of the movie. It was like an interesting thing. Like I kind of like, but I also was still invested in like the rewatch.
Yeah.
But that's really the main one that I would say. Yeah, I mean, but that's you down to pivot to scores.
Yeah, I'm down to pivot scores.
What's that? Let's kick us off, man.
Yeah, I'll kick us off. I'm gonna give this movie a 3.5. Although it does have some very good positives, I feel like the movie as a whole, like it has a great like even mystery behind it, like with Rachel uncovering what happened to like Samara and everything. And you still have like some horrifying moments, like so far as like the faces and some good jump scares as well. I feel like they could have maybe added a couple of more like some horrifying moments. Maybe did something else with like Samara to somebody else. But it's also just not a movie that I necessarily go to as far as like even around the Halloween season or even when I'm in the mood for horror. It's a movie that does get lost a little bit in the shuffle for me personally. It does make me interested though to go and watch the Japanese version of this Ring because I do fuck with Ju-on, and although I haven't seen The Grudge, but Ju-on is fucking awesome, so I'm definitely interested to maybe go and check out the original Ring. But as a whole, like The performances too was not too bad. Even though the scene I feel like with Noah and Aiden was all right. It was like they were trying to have that little heartfelt moment of a father and son and whatnot. But Aiden in his eyes, and like I felt like that dude literally did not blink in the whole damn movie. And as you mentioned with Naomi Watts, I mean, she didn't like do anything crazy or over the top that would like turn me away from her performance or anything. But I feel like the best actor might have been like Brian Cox and some of the lines he was delivering in some ways. But as a whole, like 3.5 for me, and there were some highs, some cons that I would change up as far as like the tape and even like the interview with Becca or Noah's characters. Some cons here or there, but definitely some high moments, and definitely a movie that I would recommend to people who haven't seen it. So 3.5 for me, sir. What about you?
Man, this movie just misses a 5 for me. This is a 4.5. I love this movie. I think this is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I also just remember that with like it being a cultural moment, just like the mystery of like, what the hell is this movie about? It's really odd. It was almost like akin to the mystery around the Matrix, but in a more, just within horror. So it's very intriguing the way that it unfolds as this puzzle piece, fact-finding kind of investigation to understand like the source of this tape. I mean, I could see the influence of this movie on something like It Follows. I think.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to mention too.
I think this movie also, feels very prophetic in what it, I think, is attempting to communicate about just like the peril of screens and just how even more prevalent screens are in our society today. Yeah, compared to what it was then. Like I said, this is 2002, before the smartphone. So like, I think it also says something interesting. Like, I think one could argue it says something interesting about just the toxicity of and the harm that can come from screens. And that's something they kind of touched on early when Becca and Katie are talking about just like the harm and just like the negative, like the things being emitted from the TV and the brain like airwaves and stuff like that. Remember that in the very beginning? So I feel like that was also kind of like in line with the point I was making about the harm of technology. Yeah. But I this movie is very iconic, and one of I would say it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, and I'm trying to think of some. I think The Ju-on is up there with me, as I mentioned earlier. I think this was like a really interesting time for Hollywood as they were trying to look to what was happening abroad, and specifically in Japan. And this was the first of those remakes, and man, they really hit out the park.
Honestly, well, they definitely did a lot better as far as Rotten Tomatoes is concerned. They definitely did a lot better with The Ring than they did The Grudge. Cause
what did they give The Grudge? Ju-on or which?
The Grudge got 41 from critics, 46 from the fans, and The Ring got 72 from critics, 48 from the fans. So at least they pulled off a little better feat with The Ring. But one thing I wanted to ask you though was like, is this one of the first? Because you mentioned It Follows, and another movie like that, like you can pass something along, is like Smile as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But obviously those are more recent movies like It Follows and Smile. Was The Ring one of like the first movies that like had that type of, whether you call it horror twist or horror trope? Where you can just like you get cursed and then you can just pass along. I mean, even like they try to do that in another review we did with Drag Me to Hell. She tried to see if she can pass that curse along to somebody else.
I'm not sure. That's a good question, because I mean, I don't know. I would have to like do more research on that, because I think this movie also comes at an interesting time where the 90s were a lot about slashers. Yeah, and this movie did a pretty big pivot. And changed something significantly from Ring You, but this movie is much more supernatural than anything else. So it's kind of like an interesting kind of switch or pivot in, like, I wonder, like Hollywood's focus on trying to tell different types of horror. Yeah, because you know how that Hollywood is, they'll try to ride a wave. Yeah, and they can be very much copycat.
Oh, well, that's what, when you see something get successful. Then
zombies were like that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, even superhero stuff. Like I love Marvel, but you see it with like comic book shows, like where the Boys, Invincible. I mean, these are great shows and all, but you see a lot of
it gets oversaturated.
Yeah, no matter even if it is like very good as well.
Yeah,
man, and then I mean, just thinking of like that whole of like passing it along. Because I knew what happened to Noah, and as soon as he watched the tape, I was just like, "Yep, that's you just did yourself in, motherfucker." And then like that's such a great swerve because the whole time we're following along Noah's timeline, we just don't know it. But we think we're following along Rachel's timeline, but it's like nope. Just like when she grabs her, we're like, you thought you set her soul free. She
was already saved because
like,
she showed
Noah. Psych, bitch.
She was already saved because didn't she show Noah the tape?
Well, I mean, like she thought like you saved Samara's soul.
Oh yeah.
When she grabbed her, and you see her in the well. At first, I was like, wait, that body should be looking a lot dusty, crusty, musty than that.
The way it happened, though.
But and that's like the effect still holds up. And so you're thinking like, oh, you set Samara's soul free. We're all good now.
You cursed us all, damn it.
It's like, no, I know. Eyeball boy fucking pops up and it's like,
damn
no. You. And it's like I said, and we're because the whole time we've been as soon as she shows Noah the tape, we're not following along her timeline anymore. We're following along his, and it's such a great swerve. So that is
that was a good plot twist.
Yeah,
I told you, man, one of the best pump fakes ever because you think after the well, you're like, oh. Cool.
Yeah, everything's good.
No.
Like, oh, honey, she's gone. Like, we set her to rest.
You did what now?
Bitch!
Yo, for real, man. That pump fake, though.
You didn't kill her. You just made her pissed off.
I mean, another good pump fake was also the end of Drag Me to Hell. I mean, we talked about that in our last review. I mean, when she realized she gave her the button.
Yeah.
Or no. You gave him the quarter.
You gave her the coin. Yeah. Oh my god. And it's another movie that ends. We've had these movies that like even The Thing. I think Poltergeist. I don't think ended on like a bleaker ending.
No.
Yeah.
They just lost their home.
Yeah, they just lost their home. Yeah. But like The Thing, Drag Me to Hell, The Ring, The Thing, The Ring. These have like. Not like that's like the hero doesn't really triumph necessarily because she
lives to fight another day.
It's like like in this movie she lives. I mean, Drag Me to Hell, she gets drugged to hell. Yeah. But in this, she lives, and Aiden is going to live or survive. But now they have to live with that guilt of we're condemning somebody else to death, and now you have to live with that.
So, I want you to watch this video.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to give you something to read afterwards.
And then make it
a phone call first.
And make sure you pick up that phone. I mean, it don't really matter if you pick up the phone or not. You'll be fine. They'll send you the voicemail.
Oh man, but yo, that wraps up Halloween for this year.
Yeah, man.
Stay tuned though. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.